Leafs Talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. How many games left? 4 now after this one? We're down. This is this.
Montreal Saturday, Tampa,
Yeah.
Florida Monday, Tampa Tuesday, Rangers Thursday. Playoff time, baby.
Okay, so this was the final tune-up game to me, buddy. Are you saying the same thing? How do you feel? Because I'm calling this the tune-up game. I thought the Leafs were really tight. I thought that it was a close game. I thought both teams cared. Both teams got high-level goaltending. Both teams played a really smart hockey game. I thought you saw a lot of depth. This made me feel good, but this also made me feel bad in the sense of it just made me want the playoff hockey even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, as I'm wearing on my head, the Masters are rolling around. It's spring, and the Leafs are losing big games in Boston. It just feels right. It just feels right, bud. They're
they're losing. Kipper saw Bill Burr, and now he's rubbing off on you. Hey, who knew Bill Burr in town? Guys coming in. Oh, look at Bill Burr got a new opener. He's auditioning for it now that he's got it in. Oh, the Leafs fall in spring.
Playoffs. They'd be on top course.
The laughs. Oh, what else you got there, Yuckles? Like, that's just awful.
I loved that game tonight. Loved it.
Me too.
From start to finish. I thought the first 5 or 6 minutes, the Leafs looked like they were going to get caved in all night. They found their legs. They got that power play that kind of built some momentum for them. They got some shots on net. And I just thought from the middle of the first period until the end of the game, this was two extremely evenly matched teams that played really hard. Bingo. That's it. I just thought my biggest takeaway is if the Leafs play them in a playoff series at any point, it's not going to be a blowout either way.
Dude, that spot on. All right. Yeah. Spot on. This is take from that game is the Bruins are the team of the century. And has there ever been a team assembled in the salary cap era as good as the Bruins? And no one's better than the Bruins. Leafs are just as good as the Bruins. All right.
Yes.
Like if they're worse than the Bruins, fine. What are they? A molecule worse? Those are two evenly matched teams that are going to be a coin flip away. Could it come down to something like experience and the Bruins being more clutch than the Leafs in a series where no one's saying that the Leafs don't get more respect than Boston based on the resumes of some of the guys on that Bruins team. But watching that game tonight, there is just 0% convincing me that you would ever watch a series where Toronto would look like the vastly inferior team to Boston that everyone all year just absolutely adored and gave all the credit in the world to. So, yeah, that was my sentiment too, man, is this team's really good. They tightened up. And frankly, I also thought that the guys they brought in, they all fit this game. I felt more confident with Samsonov in net than I have in years past with some of the other goaltenders tonight. I felt great watching Sam Lafferty mix it up physically and be around the game all night and end up scoring a big goal. I thought Zach Aston Reese the same thing. Ryan O'Reilly had a play, stepped in cold and looked like totally fine Ryan O'Reilly. Noel Acciari had moments in this game. There was only one guy that I thought stuck out in the new squad from this year that looked a little rough, and I don't want to say it, but I just thought the Leafs looked ready to play that style of hockey, low event hockey, good goaltending, sharp plays, stars trying to have big moments. Good for them, man. I got not a lot of negativity for tonight. I think the Leafs are ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, before we get to the negatives, because I think there's way more positives that are tonight than negative, and I don't want to be too negative about our son right off the top. But
you just said it.
I know, but I loved Sam Lafferty's game tonight. I thought the hit early where he goes in and it's like that of all, like I'm okay with fights after clean hits. Like I'm not the type of guy that's like, you got to get rid of that. But that one was like, that was just the guys ran into each other and one guy was stronger. That one was an egregious having to fight there. But he steps in there against AJ Greer and, holds on for dear life, doesn't eat too many, had a nice little shiner in the intermission, takes him down.
He drove him back though. Yeah. Like he was still in it. He was in the fight. He was in the fight.
Scored the takedown, like no complaints for him there. And I thought that really ignited him. From that point on, like he obviously scores a goal, but he makes an excellent play before he scores a goal where he intercepts a horrible pizza by David Pastrnak. That's just like a muffin across the ice. Reads it right away on his stick in deep, straight to the net. And Zach Aston Reese, I'm not sure if he was intending that, but it was the greatest pass of his life. Lands on his stick right in the slot. He shoots it in. But I agree. I agree. Like, the thing that we always talked about, and one of your takes that you said early after they traded for Ryan O'Reilly was that, well, they made the trade for Ryan O'Reilly and they made the trade for Lafferty, is that we were going to kind of be, ho-hum on these trades up until the playoffs. Like, there were going to be some times where we thought the Leafs have gotten a little bit worse and, they haven't been playing as well, which has happened. And then in the first real playoff style game they've played since the deadline, is that fair? Like, have they played in any one other one that looked like this to you? Those guys...
They've definitely had periods and they've had games where I thought that the Leafs put it together and looked like the sharpest version of their playoff self.
This intense of a game.
No, this was the game. Like, this was obviously the game of the year.
So then you can see that these guys, when a playoff style game happens, big time look like they belonged. So that's an incredibly encouraging thing. Like, Achari's just smoking dudes on the penalty kill. He's in on the forecheck. He's a dog on a bone. Like, I love this bottom six right now.
Every night, Achari on the penalty kill has a shift where I write it down and I go, that was gorgeous. Yeah. He just hounds guys with the stick, perfect distancing, never fails to make a clear when he gets the opportunity to do it. It just, man, he is one hell of a penalty killer. Like, it's probably one of the more underrated, understated stories of deadline pickup guys, is how good of an addition he has been to that unit. But I want to talk actually about, first thing is, I don't care about the fighting after a hit thing same way as you do. I actually kind of like it that teammates come and grab somebody and stick up for someone after a big moment like that. This isn't, do I wish there was more hitting and that it was more commonplace and that guys didn't bat an eye at it? Of course. But now the game is in a place where there are so few massive board rattling hits that it's like when I was going to say that when you're at a pickup game and you see your 6'5" buddy get crammed on by the local dunk legend and the whole gym stops and goes nuts.
Who that happened to?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell. Only one of us on this show is 6'5".
Thanks. So, I didn't need that reminder. I'm 6'5".
Yeah. Well, buddy, that's a pretty good reality, right? Like, you get crammed on every once in a while when you're a tall guy. Hey, stay on the rim. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying is that it's just kind of like it's shocking. It's all of a sudden everyone kind of stands at attention. Is like, holy crap. But okay, fourth line tonight. I tweeted this. I felt it. These guys have the pressure of an overqualified, underpaid college student nipping at their heels. It is the most, these guys, everybody always says the fourth line is blue collar, lunch pail. Like, yes, these guys are the working Joes who, hey, you don't get a raise because someone can replace you who is from college making no money, who wants to bust their ass and show up here and steal your job. And they parade the new kid around.
Are we gonna call Nyes the intern here?
Yeah, the intern shows up and he's ready and he's got all the qualifications. They're like, wow, this is a nice resume.
Buddy, this guy's good on Photoshop. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
This guy knows all of the new software, front and back. He is hungry. And I think that has motivated these fourth liners to a degree. And tonight, I love them, man. I thought that they were genuinely the story of the game to me is, hey, tight checking games like this, what happens? Stars can go away. I don't think any of the stars had bad nights tonight, right? Like, I didn't think anybody was awful. I thought that what happens is you get stuck in matchups. You're in a tight game. Everybody, I thought, had their moments. Matthews had some good ones late. I thought Marner was buzzing at times. I actually thought there was some like really solid moments for Morgan Rielly tonight, and I'm counting him as the Leaf stars. But what happens? You need your depth guys to show up and take advantage of their opportunities. And tonight, those guys were buzzing. They had an impact on the game. They had a lot of positive shifts. They made the most of their minutes. Zach Aston Reese, who's just feeling himself right now, all-time heat check for Zach Aston Reese.
Hammered someone tonight.
Yes, dude, he is on fuego, and he made a beautiful pass, like you said, to set up Lafferty for that goal. Lafferty gets in a scrap, big hits. I loved the fourth line tonight, and all I could think was, imagine Sheldon Keefe having the guts, or anybody within the Leafs organization having the guts, as Toronto's heading into the playoff series, to tell any of those guys on that fourth line, and obviously Kampf is exempt because he's a center, but imagine them trying to look one of those men in the eyes and say, we got to with the intern. No shot. If something happens in the postseason, right? Like maybe he gets into a game. I think it's pretty clear at this point. as much as Matt Murray is the backup or the third stringer if he's not healthy, I think Matthew Knies is 100% the 13th forward now, man.
Oh, no doubt. I completely agree. Like I have a hard time picturing him, barring injury, getting into the lineup in the first series unless something goes really wrong and they really need a shakeup. But I don't see it happening, unfortunately, for Knies, which, he's into the final now of the Frozen Four. So they won tonight. So we'll see. Like, it's going to be really, so
buddy, what do you think Matthew Knies cares more about? Winning the Frozen Four, winning the Stanley Cup this year? Like,
I don't know. Maybe answer that question.
No,
no comment.
No comment. He already made his choice. Which one he cares more about, buddy?
Yes,
like, come on.
Literally last year he made the choice.
Yeah.
I will be very interested to see how they handle this because everyone's saying that the contract's in the drawer, ready to sign. Jason Bukala was on Real Kipper and Born today, and he said, he packed 2 bags, is what he said, which is I thought was a hilarious line. Bukala, money in the bank. What a great radio guest. But he was talking. So like next week, they're going to be having home ice advantage pretty much short up here. You're going to want started. You're going to want to rest Tavares. To me, you're going to want to rest Matthews. You want to give a couple of these guys a game or 2 off. Mm-hmm. He's going to get into the lineup for sure. He's going to get into the lineup. And, if he has a couple big games where he scores, he throws a big hit, something happens, and I'm talking like we're innocent in this. I talk about the Leafs for every single day on the radio. Yeah. I can tell you what we're going to be talking about, right? Like it's going to be
I think he'll
really
play with Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay.
I think he'll play with Ryan O'Reilly in the Tampa game. Mm-hmm. And that will be sort of his, hey, what's up moment? What's going on with you? I just don't think that you can find out in a Tampa game where you're wanting to rest guys and you don't really want to show your full cards. You want to, man, look at what's been happening lately. McAvoy gets hurt tonight. Jeannot gets hurt tonight. I'm not a big believer. I've said it many times of just, resting guys all the way down the stretch, but I thought tonight kind of showed you, hey, don't worry. These guys are ready. They're going to be fine. They're ready for playoff hockey. Everyone's in phenomenal shape. Like the Stars have played a ton of minutes. Find your rest spots. But the Tampa game, considering you're going to go to a playoff series against them, that to me is the one where you just get all the funny business out of there. You're like, guys are sitting tonight. There's no funny business. We're not putting stars out here and playing them heavy minutes. But I think that, you let Matthew Knies get a look, see how he feels coming off the college season. But either way, I'm basically saying that you're getting one scrimmage and one game against the Rangers when everything's already locked up for everybody to try to find out whether he should be in the lineup. It's not enough. And I think that we were kind of kidding ourselves when we really thought
there's nowhere near enough time.
No. But I think it was a little bit more of a fair take when Zach Aston Reese was playing the way that he had for the vast majority of the season, which was kind of underwhelming to non-existent in any meaningful, impactful way. But lately he has been playing with size, playing with pace, playing well with this line, having some jam, some chemistry. I don't think that any of those guys are coming out. I just don't.
So we're talking about rest. Are you good with the fourth line?
Yeah. Okay. So the fourth line is totally set.
So you're talking about resting guys and looking down the road here.
Wait, a guy that fourth line.
Let me have it.
Sorry, I did want to mention this thing. Is size matters.
That's not what
it does. Yeah, I mean, you have to believe that it doesn't. It's very important to you. But I'm telling you, man, those guys in this game, playoff style, having a fourth line. Last year, Keefe went to, old Cliffy.
Yeah.
And he went to Wayne Simmons, guys who were big but slow and big and just didn't have any more. Having 4 guys with meaningful size on the
young
fourth
men
line
who can fly,
can actually move that felt like a playoff line to me. I'm just saying it felt good to see that today, but it felt better than ever in that style of a game against Boston where I went, yeah, you're not getting pushed around. Yeah. Lafferty is driving somebody when you come after him. You don't feel like you're getting your asses kicked or fearful that the other team could push you around. I didn't think that the Bruins were the big bad Bruins and the Leafs were the old soft Toronto Maple Leafs that were going to get pushed around. I felt the Leafs size tonight.
So last thing, because there are guys who were like, in their quote unquote quote prime years of their career.
Yep.
They're not guys that are old guys. They're not guys that are young guys. They're guys that are like at the peak of their age, curve, where they're like at their strongest, at their best. Like this is like, they're not obviously, it's tough to say prime for these guys because they're not offensive forwards, but you know what I mean? They're like in their physical primes right now.
Primes. Yeah. I think they're all in their primes.
They're in physical prime. So it's a nice thing to see. So when I was going to move off of that and talk about resting guys, but the guy that I am not resting, the guy that I am desperately playing more and more to try to wake up is Willie Nylander, because this is now getting into the spooky zone here. Like I know maybe once playoffs, and he's been a good playoff performer for the Leafs and he's turned it on here. And there's been, he's been good in the playoffs, but man, quiet again tonight. Like, and he's playing with Tavares. They put Marner on that line where Marner's been tasked with dragging them back up to level. Like I don't want to say I'm concerned because I really do think that he can flip a switch, but I am definitely not concerned.
I'm not gonna put a lot on Nylander. I don't feel as strongly about it as you do. I'll just say, to me, there's been some hilarious.
It's been a long time now.
He hasn't been the same guy for a little while. But what I actually think is like just more concerning. What I think is more concerning is that in a game like that against Boston, where you're supposed to have Tavares and Matthews, and the whole premise is that you have these two first lines, right? And Matthews takes Bunting and Yarncroc with him, and you load up the second line. My expectation tonight was certainly to feel the second line more, right? Yes. Like that group was actually going to have more meaningful moments, and they only had a couple of times where it really felt like they were threatening. And so I thought they were fine. They were okay. But to me, at that dollar amount for that line, it should feel like, oh, these guys are on the ice.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. And I felt the opposite, where I went, what was the ice time for these guys tonight? Like that was more my feel too. So I think that's right. Dude, I say this a lot, and I talk about this with Bourne sometimes, but there are measures of games that are just kind of simple as, hey, did a guy look bigger than he is tonight? Did he make you want to say, is he 6'3" and he's actually 6'1", right? There's, hey, how much ice time did this guy have? If it felt like he was on the ice more, that means his shifts were probably better and you noticed him pop. And if you felt like they didn't play enough, they probably did and underwhelmed you in a lot of minutes. So to me, that was them with that measurement tonight. Was I did not have a lot of moments where I was like, oh, them on the ice again. It was, when was the last time they were on the ice? It was more like that.
So ultimately, I don't really know. Like at its core, I don't love that they're tinkering this. Like they're trying three guys who've never played together with 4 games left in the season.
I don't mind.
Like
I think that's just who they are.
But do you think that's going to be the line first game of the playoffs? They're going to put those 3 together?
Here's the thing, dude. This is why I'm kind of disappointed that it really didn't show up a lot tonight. Is I kind of have this feeling on paper that might be the best idea. The funny thing is, again, you and I love joking about Babs was right. It's one of our favorite jokes. Matthews with 2 choppers. Just we're back. Like Babs,
Connor Brown and Hyman, baby.
Yeah, like it's back. It's Matthews with the 2 choppers and then loading up the second line. It's a Babcock special. Like,
oh my
don't
God,
think I get full of it. I never miss a Babcock moment. I remember them all. Keith buried a media member the other day, and then now he's putting Matthews with 2 choppers. I'm like, this he's Team Canada coach away.
Oh, yeah. He's gone full ready.
He is, dude. You forget that's who he trained under. Like Sheldon Keefe didn't have an extensive NHL resume. He's part of Babcock coaching tree in a weird way. Anyway, I actually like them taking this look. I think here's what I think. You know what you have with the other stuff. Like, Matthews and Marner, Nylander and Matthews. Like, any combination of those top 6 guys can play together. So let me see what it looks like if you can reinvigorate Tavares a little bit more, get more out of him with Marner, and see if you can get more with him and Nylander, and potentially have 2 dominant lines. Because I actually think that the Matthews-Yarncroc chemistry is legit, and Matthews clearly has chemistry with Bunting too, who's turning his game up. I got to mention the Bunting thing. I might just save it for my podcast tomorrow, but it's getting a little ridiculous now with everybody being like, you behave, but Michael Bunting. Like, I know you and I hate that he's a diver, but this whole narrative that's kicking around right now. Like the refs are not accountable for not making penalty calls and doing their job because he dove. Like anyway,
ref talk is poison to me.
I know, but
as soon as ref talk starts, I'm poison. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I just feel like we're in loony bin land with so much of this stuff. Like it's just some people's takes on this have gotten so extreme one way or the other that I feel like they've lost the plot. Shout out to the refs, by the way. Really great call in OT. It went against the Leafs, but that was clearly not a penalty. And if they were going to call it, it had to be both guys. And the refs huddled together and they went, hey, listen, we got to do the right thing.
They didn't huddle together. They shout out to the game ops guy who got that on the big screen. And then they saw it and everybody saw it. They wouldn't have reversed it if they didn't play it on the big screen like that, obviously. And guess what? I don't even, that's allowed, I guess. Obviously it was because they did it and I'm fine with it. Like if that was in playoff overtime against Toronto and they played it on the big screen and they reversed it, I'd be pretty happy. So I had no problem with them reversing that.
I thought it was a ludicrous call in the first place.
I couldn't believe they called it.
The official that made that call in that game, like, wow.
Hero call.
The set on you, brother. The set on you to try to step up.
Me, baby.
1-1 Bruins Leafs game of the year. I definitely saw that. Like, boy, that kind of a call. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to get us off track with the lines thing.
No, you're right.
Do you want to close your thought on it?
I want Willie to start looking like Willie. I want Willie to start looking like Willie did earlier in the year, where we all were praising him for his consistency and looking great every night, even when he wasn't scoring. You were noticing him, but now that the scoring has stopped, the noticing him has stopped. Like, how many goals did he score in March? 2? 1? Like it's really dried up here, and these stretches don't usually last this long for him. So this has been a long stretch.
It has.
So
I don't think it's not worth noting. I don't think it's not worth noting, but it's just that for me, I'm having a tough time believing like, all right, working myself up into a real lather about the way Nylander's playing right now, when most of these games I'm looking at them and saying, yeah, the Leafs are sort of playing a little bit harder version of Shinny, trying to make sure that they're not getting hurt and they're getting ready for 100%. The playoffs. Like that. So yes, you're right. It's definitely worth noting. He has been so good in some playoff series too that I kind of go, he gets the little bit of a benefit of the doubt. But yeah, you're right. I do want to know how many goals he has had. I know he scored in the Ottawa game, but when else has he scored?
That was his first goal in, I think, like 9 games.
Yeah. Because I'm saying, like, I don't have another Nylander goal on my brain.
Okay, I'm just.
Did he score against Florida?
No. Maybe he did. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. Either way, I feel like he's only got 2 or 3 goals in the last month, and that's not exactly. Still, though, what is he at right now? 36. He's 35, 36.
He scored. Yeah, he scored. Again, March 13th against Buffalo.
Yeah.
Then he scored against March 23rd against Florida. Yeah. And then one against Ottawa.
And that's the whole package in the last month.
That's since March 13th till now. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a month essentially. Boy, oh boy, though. What a year. What does he have? 36 goals? 37, 35?
He has 37.
Yeah. 37 goals and he's got 3 in a month.
That's what I mean. He was so good.
I know, but it's
so good.
Hard.
I got a taste of elite Willie, and I want it back.
Oh, clip that.
I want it back.
Clip that for me, please, David. Thank you. Send that to at JD Bunkis on Twitter.
Sex jokes.
Funny. It's all. It's one of those
comedy
shows.
Night, eh? Comedy night.
Oh, it is comedy night. This is a good one. This is a lot of comedy tonight. Anyways, I think what happened there, dude, mostly is that we used up so many bullets criticizing William Nylander over the years, and now he's got 37 goals. And you're right, he's had a bad last month in terms of goal scoring. And
it's not just goal scoring. It's not just goal scoring. You watch all these games, man. It's eye test. It's ghost zone again.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing.
Here's how Willie. I don't want to just keep ragging on him.
Well, here's what I was going to say is how we're not just pandering to the uncles is Luke Schenn was horrific tonight, and it was so bad that it almost changed my opinion. He couldn't get the puck out of his own end, and you and I have credited him before saying, hey, you know what? He does have that little backhand where he's backhand out, right? That he'll have it high off the glass. And it was like the Bruins went, yeah, we know your move. And no. And he just struggled all night when the puck was on his stick. He was the outlier. He was the guy that really stood out. And there was
didn't look like he belonged. That he was the only guy on the ice.
I know. There was a shift early on in the game too, where the Leafs got
the first shift.
Yeah,
he started the game, and they got hemmed in for the first 2 minutes of the game, and he was out.
And he couldn't kill the cycle. He couldn't catch up with anybody. He couldn't get the puck out when he got an opportunity. It was just, it was the first moment for him, and then that felt like it just followed him around all night. I don't want to be overly reactionary with this stuff, and Tampa's a different matchup than Boston is going to be, but yeah. It was a reminder that this is not some kind of a locked up thing where Nylander's the 7D and it's going to take an injury. Like one night like that.
Liljegren, you mean? You said Nylander. Liljegren. You said Nylander.
Oh, yeah,
Liljegren?
Yeah, Liljegren.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a tough look for me trying to defend Nylander. I mean, like one game he's out. Like that.
He's 7D, Willie.
Matthew Nice, you're in for Nylander. Shock of the century. Dude, the uncles would lose it. They'd have the home run jacket.
So happy.
Home run jacket gone and Nylander out benched in a playoff game. Like,
oh yeah,
the uncles, huge. Anyways,
so the thing, like we were talking about how encouraged we were about the fourth line and the bottom six guys looking like they belonged in a playoff game style. I would say I was equally as discouraged with how Luke Schenn looked in a playoff style game, where he fought it the whole night, and like, we're the captains of Luke Schenn Nation. We're like Luke's troops, buddy. We love Luke. Like it breaks my heart to come on here and say this, but the only goal of the game
like
where
betrayal. I do feel like this is.
I feel betraying. Like I feel like I'm betraying him. Like I should come on here and defend him, but I just can't. Like the play. Listen,
dude, today you texted me today. Tiger Woods is washed, and now you're going against Luke Schenn.
I know.
Who are you?
He is so washed, God. He's so washed.
You're calling Tiger Woods and Luke Schenn washed in the same day.
Not Luke. I'm not saying he's washed. Tiger's washed.
Yeah.
But the play that Carlo made, this is how I'll couch it. The play that Carlo made was sick. Full jump,
nasty
gets
play.
It down to his feet and keeps it in like with a centimeter to spare. It's an excellent play.
I thought it was offside the first time I saw it.
It's an excellent play, but that, like, I wish that I could say that was the only play where Luke made tonight that almost cost a goal, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
And the thing is, without that play, the Leafs had it buttoned up. Like they were locked down defensively. Sammy was locked in. Like it was a really, really good defensive clinic type game, which I'm sure Keefe was just horned up about this performance in terms of how they look defensively.
Dude, I was just going to say, if we're going to say things about like Nylander didn't show up, where was Pasternak tonight?
Yeah, he was not really noticeable. And I think a lot of the night he was playing against the Leafs shutdown guys, and they did a good job on him. Like, I will say that I thought the Leafs did a good job against the Bruins Stars. Also, David Pasternak scored the overtime winner, so that's where he was. He was shooting in the net. And
great
3-on-3
in the overtime in the skills competition.
Yeah, I thought that Brad Marchand. Did they say on the broadcast that he hasn't scored in 13 games?
I don't know. I didn't hear that.
I think I heard them say that he hasn't scored in 13 games. He's not moving as free as he used to. Like, I think he had hip surgery in the offseason or whatever.
Now this feels like we're getting into Bruins peak too soon territory.
No, I'm not. Absolutely not. But like, I was just surprised that what the guys who look good on their team and were scaring me were not the guys that like it used to be. Like Marchand obviously is still so sick and like he has the puck. He's always a threat. Bergeron is elite defensively, still like a threat. But like that DeBrusque was flying around. I love the way he looked tonight. Like that Frederick's a pain. Like they got a really good.
They're layer after layer. That's their team, right? They're deep. But that's what I'm saying about the Leafs. Yes. That's why I brought up the fourth line so much tonight is like it felt the same way.
Yeah,
I felt the same way watching Achari and having Ryan O'Reilly out there was just like shift after shift of good Leafs players against shift after shift of Boston players. This isn't a real takeaway night for me in terms of, hey, as in taking away something from someone or someone was better. Even for Pasternak, it's like, he's a Leaf killer. He scored the overtime winner, but before overtime in this game, I never had the, oh my God, Pasternak is just killing the Leafs again tonight shifts throughout the game. It wasn't that way because both teams really tight. Yeah, real tight, really evenly matched game. Okay, before we go, I think we should just mention, though, that Samsonov was calm in the net tonight, and my confidence level in the Leafs goaltending. God, this feels like such a cursy show.
I was just going to say, bud. I was going to say,
it feels
careful.
good.
Careful,
Sorry,
Ricky.
it feels good. It feels good watching them, and they're flashing the stats, and just early on in the season when we were watching Samsonov,
didn't look like
and
this.
Even deeper in the season, it was, hey, sometimes he can look like he's swimming in his net, and hey, is he going to have the mental game for this? And I just think this is a guy who knows himself at this point, is feeling himself, and he didn't have one shaky moment in this game.
So agree. Like I've said it a million times that like he's just starting. He just looks like a starting goalie in the NHL.
Yeah,
like he's just confident, big, makes the saves you want him to make. The ones that got by him tonight, whatever, screenshot, overtime goal. That it's just a skill competition. But
Pasternak picking a corner and overtime.
Listen, he's going to give you a chance to win. Right? Like you're going to go into Tampa and he's going to give you a chance to win. He's he's not going to kill you as I tap on some wood here, but I'm confident in him. So famous last words. You're welcome, Sammy. Cause we're both very confident in you, but yeah, he looked good again tonight.
This is just the worst. This makes me feel like we're Caesar before he headed to his death. Right.
Absolutely.
He like gets all the warning. They like, but what was the line he gets from, what was it, Decimus, who tells him like, what are you going to listen to women and gods or women and fortune tellers? And he's like, you're right, I'll go. And then he gets stabbed to death. That's us.
We should have listened to them.
Yeah, like, what are we going to listen to? Cursing the Leafs and cursing their goaltending? He's going to get rung up game one.
Listen, I got to tell you something. Like, hockey gods, what the hell have you ever done for me? Like, honestly, nothing. you've done nothing for me. So if I'm going to tempt you, like, sure, you haven't done one good thing for me ever. So
that's
whatever.
That's a pretty good take. That's a pretty good take, except for now
they're even more
so
pissed.
good this year.
Now they're just smite.
Yeah. And it was going to be a very happy Christmas, but now
I had a quick note. One more thing for me.
Yeah.
The glass. Who did the glass at TD Garden? Like, did they not? They had the Bruins game there the Celtics game there last night against the Raptors. Like, did they rush job that to get it back together? Because every shot along the glass made like the weirdest sound you've ever heard, like a weird bang sound. It was kicking out into the slot. Did they not seal it right? Like, it was 100 times that it happened. Did you notice that?
No, I'll be honest, that didn't register for me whatsoever.
Oh my God, it was all I could think about. Every time they shot it on the glass, it made a weird sound and kicked out into the slot.
I did
have like 3 or 4 times.
I did have volume pretty low during this game.
Yeah.
So maybe that was it, but yeah, I that was not something for me where I was like, oh, the glass sound.
Why was that going? Sorry, and did you hear, if you had the volume pretty low, I guess you didn't hear Chris Cuthbert shot at the TSN broadcast?
No, I'm telling you, in terms of, sometimes I will turn the volume fairly low in a game, because I don't want to have my opinions on it influenced by the broadcast.
So CC said after Zach Aston-Reese got that pass, he's like, Zach Aston-Reese gets all his assists on Sportsnet.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. That's pretty funny.
And he got a good laugh at a simmer. He's like, touche.
All his assists on Sportsnet. They should. No, the real funny one would be if old Sean McKenzie went down in the tunnel and asked him, hey, are you aware that this is your Exum assist on Sportsnet? That would have actually been really, really good. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Gonna fly through the last couple of notes here. These are minor things, but yeah, with Ryan O'Reilly's return, he's just that kind of a game player. And I thought Elliott actually did a really good job outlining some of the little things that he does during the game. Also, his hand-eye coordination drill.
Unbelievable.
The ball, like, how many of those could you do in a row before it drops?
I got decent hand-eye, but not many.
Same. So, like,
not many.
I was thinking, like, I think the longest I could get is 4, because I think I could get it, like, 1 off the wall to start, right? Stick, off the wall, stick, off the wall. And there's no way I'm getting it, like, more than 4.
I'll give myself 6.
6? I give myself 4. That's nice confidence.
Let's try it. Let's have a Sportsnet 590 The Fan Olympics, and we'll give that a go.
But the thing is, you got to do it in that like tight space too. Like anyway, the wall dimensions, like, where are you getting that?
It's sick.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
It's good, and it's a really, really good drill. Like it's
Yeah,
a really awesome for hand-eye.
Awesome drill. Awesome drill. Yeah, sometimes I struggle with just like the ball in the cup. So I don't know if I could get 4 times with that. Anyways, Justin Hall, I know people think I'm just, loving to love, but when we're talking about guys who made some cycle kill playoff style plays in this game, he made a whole hell of a lot of them tonight.
Guess what? He was Mr. Underappreciated again. Just takes 100%. A goddamn beating every night. Takes hits to make plays every night. Cross-checked below his own net, getting the puck out. And he makes one bad pass and scratch him, get him out of the lineup.
Dude, people think Connor Timmins is better than him. That's the number one.
That hurts my feelings.
That would literally be like if on my podcast, and I'm saying Jobo because I know he watches the show, my boy Josiah Bosch, who I hired, if people were like, I think Jobo is better at the pod. I think Jobo should play more than you. I think he should say more takes. I would be apoplectic. No one ever let Justin Hall know that those guys were out there on social media saying those things about him because and honestly, any of you watching this right now, I'm looking at the camera right now, anybody who has had the Connor Timmins over Justin Hall take, shame on you. Shame on you. That is disgusting behavior. Truly, here's what I'll just tell you. It's okay. I don't know the game as much as Bourne knows the game, right?
No.
Some of you just don't know what's going on out there, I guess, because
listen, I don't sometimes. I said that the Coyotes were hot and they had lost 8 in a row. So.
I think in terms of the takes that have been popular in my life, I remember that one for me goes up with Ronda Rousey would beat up Floyd Mayweather. That there's that was I think about the Mount Rushmores of worst takes, or what's his name said that Conor McGregor wouldn't land one punch on Floyd Mayweather. Damn it, what's his name? The guy he was first take after.
What about Paul Pierce with it's going to be a sweep when the Celtics beat the Bucks in the first game? That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there have been some horrible takes, but an athlete saying a confident thing is a little different. I'm saying a take artist where they have and it has to be a popular take, one that someone gave a hot take, and then a lot of people went, you know what? I think that Max Kellerman was the one that said Conor McGregor wouldn't land a punch. And a lot of people, a lot of boxing people were he's not going to land a single punch. They really bought it. And the Connor Timmins one is that for me with Leaf fans, where it's there is an exorbitant amount of Leaf fans that genuinely believe that take. It is a real in the dyed in the wool. It's
somebody
not
put a poll. 75% of people said that it was Connor Timmins. I was oh my God, I got to stop watching hockey. I watch hockey all the time, and there's people that think that.
Yeah, I know. But just tonight, he was just solid, man, all night long. Puck going down in his corner. Another guy, another big, nasty Bruins forward down there to battle with, and he came out with the puck. But he came out of it and battled tons of times and made smart plays to get the puck out. He was just really quality tonight. Good cycle killer. Anyway, that's it for me. That's all that I got in the notes.
All good. We got a show tomorrow. You guys are going too, right? Easter, we're slaved it to the man on Good Friday.
Tomorrow. Sorry, say that question again. I read Jobo texting. My mom would say that. I was told you he's watching. Shout out to Jobo.
You're the man. You guys got a show tomorrow, right? We're all doing work tomorrow on Good Friday. Who do you got in the show? Anything?
Dude, I'm such a sports guy that I don't even know about these holidays happening anymore, and I don't even know which day we're supposed to get off. Do you get off Easter Monday or Good Friday? Get both?
Good Friday. Good Friday's a big one. Yeah. So
no, I know. I was raised Catholic.
We got Kenny Hitchcock on the show tomorrow.
Nice. I got James Myrtle.
Oh yeah.
And I'll do all my Friday feels. I got Masters takes for tomorrow. I got some Big J's thoughts from today. Boy,
buddy, we won 3 must-win games in a row. Season is back on. Yeah, season's back on. Saved.
I will say this though. Yeah. Brandon Belt is doing his damn hardest to steward the season. That guy is gotta go.
Yeah, I actually feel this last strikeout, I was I actually felt mad. I was oh my God. Oh God.
This is, man, the thing that kills me about him, Al, is that he makes $9 point some million. Teoscar Hernandez, they were like, we got to get rid of him because we got to save the money. He makes 14.
Yeah.
You think that, like, Teo, $9 million was
buddy, they had to spend $5 million developing the poutine hot dog for the new Rogers Center, pal.
Holy! Oh, by the way, that looks sick. I can't wait to get down there. I actually like
it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I know they send the influencers for a reason, to influence, but I was influenced.
Great job.
Great job. I was influenced. I got to tell you, it sucked. I couldn't go because it was during my show, like smack dab. It was a weird thing where they, they go, yeah, but you had a thing. Yeah, of course I got invited. How dare you? Anyway, you had to enter between 9:30 and 10:15. Like that. Then they were like, you're not allowed in if you're not in during these times. I was like, oh, okay. So I can't go, like, I can't just show up late. They're like, no. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Jay's like, ooh la la.
Ennis is down there wearing his bright green Masters jacket. Legends row.
Yeah, I know.
Sportsnet polo under that baby.
Oh yeah. Worst style of any man I've ever seen.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Especially. Anyway, we gotta go. All right, leave 5 stars. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee. You see it there if you're watching on YouTube, and if you are watching on YouTube, fire the old thumbs up, share it. Again, hey, listen, I'll just say this. I say this on my podcast all the time. We get the numbers of the downloads of the podcast on iTunes and on Spotify, and it is not commensurate at all with the people who leave ratings and reviews and share. I'm just saying, like, we know the numbers and they're huge. And if you go on the iTunes page and on the Spotify page, like, yeah, this is a guilt trip. Listen, as a classic Bunk, Sammy's received many of these. We've been buddies for 11 years. I'm familiar with this. Yeah, like all we ask for this free content that we do after every single game is that you leave 5 stars, like press a button or follow it or share it. And all you freeloaders out here, like, again, we have the download numbers. Just listen, no likes. Yeah, go do it, you dicks. My final word: go, John Rahm, go. Yeah, I mean, I have John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, and Victor Hovland to win bets. Oh my God. I'm the hottest man who ever lived to start. Well, I have JT. Those are my 4 guys that I bet on before the tournament, though. 4 guys, they're all in it. I love it. That's great. What a weekend we got on store. Can't wait. I texted Bourne. I said, if none of those 4 guys win, like, I'm gonna walk off a cliff. Like, I was depressed. Yeah, like I'm gonna walk into the sea and just start, like, I gotta start a life somewhere else. Like, this is the best I ever felt with Masters. I kept looking at it and I would look at the scoreboard and then I would look at my bets and be like, this is real life. Like, I have these. Like, anyway, I got a piece of Rahm and I got a piece of Scheffler who's lurking too. So we'll see. Scheffler is lurking. All right. For JD Bunkis and Sam McKee, thank you to the listeners. Even though I guilt trip you, I love you to death. We'll see you later.